Hey guys, I wanted to jump on and do a quick video reacting to the breaking news as of March the 1st. And it's the most clickbaity title maybe ever, but this actually does change everything for new Amazon sellers. And it's to do with your capacity limits, which isn't, say, the sexiest topic, but this is mega important. And this is a massive change. It's the biggest thing I've seen change with inventory limits for new sellers in a couple of years. So I want to jump on and kind of break it down for you guys and say why it's important, why it matters, and how it's actually going to save you a lot of money and a lot of time over the first kind of year that you're selling on Amazon. So I'm going to dive into it straight away. So this was a release they put out about the FBA capacity limits, and they break it down here. I'm going to jump straight into how they're set. So traditionally, new sellers for the since COVID, basically pre-COVID, it was great. You could just fire in as much inventory as you want. The storage fees are really, really cheap. During COVID, they brought in a lot of restrictions and they were at capacity and they grew a lot as well. So we got hit with way tighter restrictions, which brought 3PLs into play. Now, 3PLs are third-party warehouses. So but essentially, you can't send all of your stock to Amazon. So you send some of it to Amazon and some of it to a third-party warehouse. They'll then store it. They'll then pick it, pack it. Not pick it, pack it. They then basically, pick it, pack it, and ship it into Amazon once you have the capacity and once you're allowed to do that. For the last couple of years, new accounts have only been able to ship in 1,000 units of inventory, which maybe does sound like a lot to some of you, but actually in some niches, that isn't enough to compete. So when you send in the inventory, you launch, let's say it goes great, you could sell that in a week, but you need to sell 4,000 or 5,000 units that month to compete with the top dogs in the niche. So you're always playing catch up, where then it's really hard to get your inventory in fast enough to keep in stock to then secure your ranks and kind of secure the landing of those organic keywords, which obviously is the ultimate goal with the first inventory order. So as we can see here now, we're going to go to new professional selling account. So what they're doing now is they have 0 FBA capacity limits, which is insane. This is a massive difference. So this allows you to establish your FBA sales record without limits so that we can determine how much capacity your FBA business needs as you grow. And they're doing this for the first 39 weeks, which is, in normal human speak, this is about 9 months. 39 weeks. I don't know why they've written it like that. That's the only people I know that do that is when they've had a baby and they announce how old they are in the weird week format. So essentially 9 months, you've got free for all, which is absolutely wild. I can't believe how good this is. Opens up so many more competitive niches for people and new sellers. Now, after the 39 weeks, they're going to give you an IPI score. And this is probably going to be tracked the whole way through. So be careful not to abuse this. So your IPI score, the way they used to do it was once a week, it would change. And that would determine your capacity limits at Amazon. So they often get tighter in Q4. You have to really fire through some good sales velocity and then they'll get lifted. So ours went from something like 50,000 last summer when we were kind of at our peak, and it went as low as 4,000 this Q4. We had too much inventory at Amazon at that point, and we got hit with some fees. It was pretty brutal. But Amazon are putting a massive kind of focus now on not having slow moving inventory in their warehouses. So after these 39 weeks, when you get your IPI score, sellers with consistent high IPI scores are going to receive higher limits, and they're going to adjust it with sales volume. So every 15th of the month, so the third Monday of the month, Amazon are going to announce your IPI score. They're going to announce your limit for that month, so your inventory limit, and then they're also going to forecast the next 2 months. So let's say, for example, it's March 15th, you get this message. They're going to forecast what you're going to have from March to April, but also April to May and May to June as well. And if your sales are trending upward, that might be the case that they're probably going to keep increasing it. So you can have a fair few impressions, nearly 16,000 at the moment. So also follow me on Twitter if you don't, it's at @TheHonestTom. And Alex don't worry too much about him. But basically, the reason I wanted to pick it up, it got a lot of attention. I think this is quite big news to a lot of people. So why this is so good for new sellers is it takes out a load of cost. Now, as I mentioned earlier, normally you have to send things into a 3PL. That adds a lot of logistical kind of headache, but also cost, of course, because you're going to get charged by that 3PL to receive your inventory, to check it in, to put it on pallets, to wrap it, to then store it for however long it's stored for. And then you're going to put it out of inventory. You're going to get charged for the outbound fees, and you're going to get charged for shipping it into Amazon. Now, ultimately, long term, you are going to need to use 3PL. So you need to make sure that you are factoring the 3PL costs into your initial numbers, because as you scale up, you probably are going to have too much inventory required in, say, the USA at any one time. You can't have it all at Amazon. So factor those in. If the numbers don't shake out when you include a 3PL, it's not a good idea to launch that product. But jumping back to this, what you can do after these 9 months, and this is also useful for current sellers as well, is if you think your capacities are too small and you can't keep up with your planned growth, you can now bid for extra capacity. So basically what Amazon are doing here, this is like their evil genius that's something to come up with this. You can request up to 20% of your initial capacity or 2,000 cubic feet, whichever is greater. So the way you do this is you bid. So you set a maximum fee that you're willing to pay for, which is a real knobhead way of Amazon to do this. If they do that, they're going to see if they have the space, and then they're going to charge you, but no upfront payment is required. So thanks very much, Jeff. What they then do is, if you hit these capacities, if you surpass them, Amazon will, you earn 15 cents of credit per every $1 of sales. This is the UK option here, but £1 for every, 15p for every £1. It's the same in the US as well. So you can essentially offset your reservation costs and earn it back if you sell as much as you say that you can. But you need to be really careful here, because obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Amazon don't want slow moving inventory at their warehouses. So if you have too much stock there and if you're over, you're going to get charged overage fees. So overage fees basically means if you're over the top, if you're over your limits, and if you have shipments on the way in and that total is over the limits, number one, you can't create new shipments and send in new inventory, which is going to be a nightmare if you have a variety of SKUs and one of them is going to stock out, for example. And secondly, you're going to get charged. So you're going to get charged based on your cubic feet. So make sure you get this kind of math dialed in. This is on the back end as well. You can look at Seller Central and it's got all the details there, and it'll update your current limits. But essentially, don't abuse the new conditions. It's going to be really difficult after the first 9 months if you haven't done it properly. You've got to really manage your IPI score. But everything being said, this is great for new sellers. This honestly is a massive game changer. It's going to save you a load of costs. It's going to mean you can access and attack a load of competitive niches that were way more difficult before. So forgive the clickbait. This actually is a massive game changer for Amazon sellers. Let me know what you think in the comments. If this is going to change your mind, maybe this is going to make you more likely to get involved with Amazon. Quick plug. Honest FBA, we do have an Amazon course and community, A to Z on how to do everything. If you fancy it, hit the link below. You can book a call with myself or Alex, run through everything and answer any questions. We can answer any questions you have about Amazon FBA in general, see if you're a right fit for the community, and hopefully help you launch an Amazon business as well. I'll catch you in the next one.